All right, welcome back to StackHunters. Bradley Stalder, Dan Williamson here with you to bring you late round gems and fantasy football sleepers. We're also going to do a live draft and discuss some of these players. Maybe they're handcuffs. Maybe there's some deep, dark, in the trenches players that Dan has identified. I've written down some notes of players that I'm targeting late. And sometimes the players who we take early will dictate the players that we take late. So the builds may lead to that, not just structurally, but also the teams that we've built around. But we'll talk about some of these players in a vacuum. Dan, it's exciting. It's a holiday weekend time. We've got people coming over to our places. We've got a lot to do, though. So let's get into the draft. Let's pull it up here. Dan and I are going to do a pit bull, so a $20 entry. So hopefully, we've got enough people to join us here on the pit bull. It's only 28,000 people in this tournament, Dan.
Yes, a nice small field. Decent prize up top, 100K to first, and so
it's about 80% filled right now.
Yeah, and second's 50K, third's 25K. So there's good prizes on all the way down to basically 10th place is still 10K, 11th through 15th 5K. So there's some good prizes on down. So I like it.
Absolutely. So let's jump in. First prize 100K. Whew, $20 entry. You love to see it. We are going to jump in. So if you're in the streets, we want in the streets as well. We're waiting for a few people. Dan, while we wait for this room to fill, it's a 20-second clock. So the draft goes pretty quickly. Let's get just instant reaction to the trades that happened earlier this week. We got a lot of tight end shifting. You love the tight ends. You're a big tight end guy, Dan. We see Jonnu Smith moving from the Miami Dolphins to the Pittsburgh Steelers, and now Darren Waller comes out of retirement and joins the Miami Dolphins. Let's start with Jonnu Smith and how this affects him, because he was a top 5 tight end last year. I don't think top 5 is within his range of outcomes here in Pittsburgh, Dan.
Definitely not. This trade was probably the single biggest destroyer of tight end value I've seen in quite some time. It's not good for Jonnu Smith. It's definitely not good for Pat Freiermuth. And I don't know what Waller's got left in the tank. But yeah, Jonnu Smith, we saw what he did in an Arthur Smith offense in Atlanta a couple years ago. And, while it was all right, it was decent. It was, I don't know. It was low-end tight end 1, high-end tight end 2 type stuff. Definitely not what we're looking for. And that's on a week-to-week basis. I think for the season, he was probably about tight end 16 or something like that, if memory serves. So that's where I'm at on him. I think Freiermuth takes the biggest hit, though. He was looking like he could get just all the targets that he wanted, and that's definitely not going to happen. I do expect Jonnu Smith and Freiermuth to both be on the field at the same time. The good news is that there's really not much of a slot receiver there unless Roman Wilson suddenly comes to life. There is a way that it could get better, but it's really hard to bet on it.
It is hard to bet on the Pittsburgh Steelers. There's just so many pathways of failure for fantasy for everyone involved in this Pittsburgh offense, whether it is Aaron Rodgers and his slow pace of play, whether it's the tight end competition. They're going to run 2 tight end sets, but is the ball going to end up going to the tight ends that much? Maybe 15, 20% of the time. I don't know, Dan. That's not something that I feel confident in, given the history of what Arthur Smith has done with his offenses and getting the balls to the guys. So I don't have a lot of confidence. In Jonnu Smith's fantasy outlook, he is falling outside the top 15 of tight ends for me pretty comfortably. He just needs to continue to plummet because he was being drafted at what, tight end 7, tight end 8 in most formats, and now it's all set. Dan, we have filled the league. We're just waiting for the spot, and 1-4. We're at the 1-4.
Awesome. All right. So, what do you want to do at the 4 here? What's
At the 4, we're looking at probably Saquon, Bijan, CD Lamb.
I would say
okay with
Bijan, CD Lamb, or Jahmyr Gibbs.
I am cool with all those. I will give the lean to Bijan, though.
Okay.
If he's there. Yeah. But a later round running back, because this episode is focusing on late round gems here. So might as well, if we're looking at Bijan here at 4, probably not going to look at his handcuff Tyler Algier. But in non-Bijan builds, he is a priority running back for me, given what he's done. He's a good running back. We believe this is going to be a good offense. And if Bijan goes down, Algier, let's say Bijan Robinson tears his ACL in August. Tyler Algier
say that. let's knock on wood when we say that.
This is true. This is true. We do not want that to happen. But let's say that Bijan is out for the season. Maybe something else happens. I don't know. But let's say that happens. Tyler Algier becomes a top 15, top 12 running back. I think pretty comfortably.
Yep, and we are up. Bijan just went. So for me, it's CD Lamb or Jahmyr Gibbs.
Let's go Lamb over Barkley. Is this a fade of Barkley?
A little bit. I mean, it's just I have trouble seeing how he's likely.
Sorry, we got autoed. That was a 20-second clock, Dan.
Yes, it was.
Oh no. I'm sorry.
Right.
Oh, that's what
All right,
happens.
Bradley, let's talk more action.
We are trying to get through this pod.
All right, so we're not fading Barkley. He's going to be just fine. Absolutely
he will be okay.
Great. No problems whatsoever. He's going to go out and do exactly what he did before. That's what I meant to say.
This is what you meant to say. That's right, Dan. Well, there we go. Lots of fun here on the Player Profiler Now Plus Network on the StackHunters podcast. Dan Williamson and I are drafting here live. We I talked ourselves into Saquon Barkley. By we, I mean that's my fault, Dan.
Yep. And speaking of late round running backs, if something were to happen to Saquon Barkley, Will Shipley is sitting in a very, very nice spot. And he is going, well, on the FFPC, he's running back 58, which is super late. I mean, that's basically, 16th round or later. And he's got a lot of contingent value. And they didn't do anything to really add to the running back room.
No.
So that tells me that they're pretty happy with what they've got. So Shipley can be a nice pick.
Yeah, he was on my list as well, Dan. So upvote, retweet that.
Yes, good deal.
On Shipley.
All right, we're starting to come around again.
We went Barkley.
Yep.
So we probably won't go running back, which means Bowers, Rice, Higgins. If you're not going running back here,
I'm probably going. I know what you're going to want to do here. You're going to want to go Higgins, aren't you?
Hey.
All right, Bradley, go ahead.
Wow! Permission granted.
Put him in.
After that mess up, T. Higgins.
Hurry!
I put him in the queue. He was gonna go, Dan. Put him in the queue. We're hustling here. We're hustling. This is great.
All right. And we'll be coming up very, very quickly again. So
Yes.
I'm thinking Chase Brown would be ideal if he lasts to us, because then we're starting to stack some Cincinnati. I don't mind.
There's a lot of wide receivers right here, though, and I feel like we might get a fall off.
Any of those wide receivers I'd be pretty happy with. But what do you think? Is it Chase Brown or is it one of the wide receivers?
I think we go one of the wide receivers.
Okay.
I know I'm not a huge Garrett Wilson guy, but I know you are more of a Garrett Wilson guy.
Who's your pick?
I mean, at this spot,
10 seconds.
Yeah, let's go Garrett Wilson.
Okay.
Garrett Wilson at 28. That's a lot of targets.
Yes. I mean, it's probably not going to be the highest volume passing offense, but I don't know. I think it could be a little bit sneaky on the volume there too, because we've got Aaron Glenn, who came from Detroit, used to having a nice, good offense, putting stress on the opposing defense, and also putting stress on the opposing offense to try to keep up, which is going to make it easier for his defense to play. So I think he will not be as conservative as a lot of coaches.
Wilson is the wide receiver I have projected for my highest target share. So even with a small pie, like that's kind of offset by the fact that he's going to get 32% of the targets. Like the wide receiver 2 there is Josh Reynolds. Right. Mason Taylor is an eyebrow raise. Alan Lazard still exists on this team. Like that's what we're talking about is Garrett Wilson, and then it's everyone else. Right. Breece Hall will catch his fair share of passes out of the backfield. But that's the pathway for Garrett Wilson. Like it's very easy to see him getting 35%, 40% in a week.
Yep, no doubt about it. Let's see. We should probably be thinking about our next pick at least a little bit.
It's coming up here in about 4 or 5.
Yep. And I'm good going wide receiver again.
We could go Devonta Smith with some Philly correlation there, and maybe come back around with Jalen Hurts.
Yeah. Let's see if we can pull it off.
That would be nice.
Jalen Hurts will make it around, but if he does, that'd be fantastic.
That'd be real nice, Stan. That'd be real nice.
Yep. Of course, we got to get to Devonta Smith first, too. he may not even make it to us.
We will see. The Jonnu trade. Let's go Devonta.
Right. Yep.
Because there we go. We'll get Devonta Smith. The Jonnu trade also led to Darren Waller getting traded, and the waiver frenzy the next day after Waller was a Miami Dolphin. That was wild, especially in the deeper. I'm in a couple 32 team leagues, Dan. And there were some trade bidding wars to try to acquire
crazy
Darren Waller.
I mean, it's not crazy, but kind of is crazy. So, let's see. What are we going to do if Hurts is gone here?
We could look at Hampton or Hubbard. Hampton is off the board. We just have to wait to see if Hurts gets sniped here. And then we'll need to... Nope, we get Jalen Hurts. Let's go! Uh, hey, the
Big
Barkley
Philly stack.
pick has kind of worked out.
It
This
has.
is
Though
this is
I wouldn't
nice.
mind having the Hurts Devonta Smith stack either way, with or without Barkley. But I think, with Hurts and Barkley, we can pretty much be sure that we're in on pretty much every single Philly touchdown, one
Yes.
way or the other. So, like that. All right. So we should, while we have a chance, talk about some late round. Um,
Well, we didn't
how about?
finish Darren Waller. We didn't finish
Oh
because
yes,
he's right
yes.
now tight end 29 in this format, in this draft. But he hasn't been drafted yet, but that's his ADP. Where does Darren Waller land? Because Dan, he's been a top 12 tight end in the last 2 seasons that he's played in terms of fantasy points per game. We know the health is an issue. We know he's 33. He's on a new team. He's missed half the offseason. How high does Darren Waller get?
I mean, it really depends on what we see in training camp. Personally, I tweeted out a couple days ago. I'm slotting him in as about tight end 24 or so. Thought process there is that kind of puts him in the K. Dotton, Chigo Conquo, Theo Johnson range, down below Brenton Strange. Mike Gesicki also, I think, kind of is in that same range. So you're past like the Hunter Henry, Isaiah Likely, Dallas Goedert place. So it's right after that I think he kind of slots in. And you're going to be taking a chance with the health for sure.
Yeah, my projections just are very aggressive with Darren Waller, Dan.
They are.
They
Well,
they
all right.
they
Where do you
are.
have him? Where do you have him, Bradley? I mean,
Yeah.
I'm assuming you're assuming that he's going to be healthy, and also
Yeah,
we
I
can be.
mean, it's
Yeah.
hard to predict the injuries and you know, training staffs vary and also schemes vary. It's still very much within the range of outcomes, Dan, that last year was not a fluke, and they will continue to funnel like passes to the Jonnu Smith type of player, and Darren Waller would still be the recipient of that. So, and I think
Oh,
that Darren Waller's
Jerry
a more,
Judy. Jerry
yeah.
Judy.
Oh, this is easy. Yeah, that was very
Yes.
easy. That Darren Waller, yeah, a 33-year-old Darren Waller has proven so much more over his career than Jonnu Smith has in terms of what he offers from a fantasy upside perspective. So I think that that's still within the range of outcomes, even if we weren't looking at, we were just looking at like Waller, the player, versus the scheme that Miami put in place last year. Like, what did Miami do to really move the needle and change their scheme other than trade Jonnu Smith?
Yeah, they really haven't done much. This should be, I think, a fairly concentrated offense in the passing game. It's going to be basically, Hill, Waddle, Waller, and Achan, and everybody else is going to be just tiny little bits and pieces.
Is HN running back one overall now firmly within the range of outcomes?
Yeah, I think so. Um, has Ekuba um, Igbuka gone yet?
No, he's not.
There he is.
He's way later, though. We
Yeah.
can wait a little
I,
bit.
well,
We
I
need a
don't think we're
running
gonna get
back,
him.
maybe? Swift? You don't think
Yeah.
so?
No, I don't think so. But
We can
that's
go
fine. If you want to, yeah,
Igbuka.
Swift would be good too. Swift is good.
I'm here. They've been,
Go,
the
go
Chicago
Swift.
Bears have been chatting up a lot of positive vibes about DeAndre Swift. So I'm here
All right.
for it. You know I'm here for it, Dan.
Indeed.
I've been reading a lot of the Coach Speak Index lately about Swift, and it's just been so positive. It's been really positive. They really
Yeah.
like him. There's been ups and downs for Roshan, ups and downs for Kyle Manangai, but it's been consistent positive drumbeat for DeAndre Swift.
Yeah. Yep, for sure. And he's got that skill set, where he's going to be catching a good number of passes. He's not the world's greatest runner, but he still might be the best runner on the team, which might be all that matters. So, it'll be interesting to see how it comes out. How do you feel about, speaking of late round, there's also Roshan Johnson or Kyle Manange that are both in this backfield as well. So let's say something does happen to Swift. What do you think of those two guys? Do you have one that you're taking in drafts at all, or no?
Roshan is probably still the guy that I'm giving the lean to, and that's how if I were to cross off Swift from the list, let's say he goes down with an injury or something, Roshan probably gets the majority of share, is how I would. The majority, but I don't think he would tote it like the 17 times that Swift would. I think that you would see a tick down in terms of volume. The coaching staff traditionally has loved Roshan Johnson, but there's a reason why he was a 4th round pick and he hasn't broken out yet, and he didn't supplant DeAndre Swift last year. So, all right, Dan, we're coming up here in 2 picks.
Jaden Higgins looks really good to me.
Oh, there's been a lot of positive buzz about him too. The Schefter report said that he's very firmly locked into that wide receiver 2 spot. So we're here for that.
Yes, we are.
And we're going to take him. Easy click.
Yep.
All right. So far, we are through 8 rounds. Jalen Hurts, Saquon Barkley, DeAndre Swift, T. Higgins, Garrett Wilson, Devonta Smith, Jerry Jeudy, Jaden Higgins. No tight ends yet for the StackHunters. But, Dan, we are motoring through getting some of these late round players. We've talked about Shipley. We've talked about Waller. I'm going to throw a late round wide receiver your way that was also highlighted in the Schefter report. He's been compared to Michael Thomas, and that's rookie 3rd round wide receiver Pat Bryant, wide receiver 68, getting comps to Mike Thomas. But before we talk about Pat Bryant, we're up here on the clock in just a moment.
Yeah, I don't mind ETN at all here.
Feeling good about like Andrews or Engram at this spot? No.
I would tend to go a little bit more towards Engram, but I think ETN might be the pick here.
Let's go ETN. Boom. He's also getting a lot of positive buzz as the RB1, and there's been questions about LaQuint Allen. Can he step up? Can Bashal Tutin pass protect? Those have been major questions that have been brought up in the news lately. So if they have concerns, if the beat writers have concerns, and ETN is the de facto RB1, then we want the de facto RB1 on a revamped Jaguars team.
Right, exactly. And he's another good pass catcher, which means he'll be adding that the half PPR here. So not as good as full PPR, but we'll take it.
Not as good as full PPR, but before we get into Pat Bryant, we have a message for you from the Podfather.
Hey, why do we partner with the FFPC? Because they have the widest variety of fantasy football formats, and it's the easiest place to find all types of fantasy football contests in the world. What if you want to play for high stakes? Well, they have a $6 million prize pool with their Fantasy Players Championship. They also have way too early best ball leagues that start in February and Dynasty leagues. They have the closest thing to a liquid market for orphans that there is in all of Dynasty. And the FFPC has sponsored us for half a decade because we are actually delivering information that can help fantasy gamers, and they're generating so much interest and bringing in so many new users, casual users even. The FFPC creates a unique experience where you can both compete against the best and make money. Use promo code UNDERWORLD to get $25 off your first team. $25 off your first team at the FFPC with promo code UNDERWORLD. Go get it!
That's right. Go get it on the FFPC. Dan and I will be representing Player Profiler on
July 27th, Sunday.
July 20th. Whew. It's going to be lots of fun, Dan.
Oh, it's going to be great.
Pros versus Joes.
Yes, we're in the Iron Maiden division, so of course we had to change the team name to Aces High.
There you go.
One of the very best Iron Maiden songs. All right, let's see what we got here. Call me crazy. I don't mind Luther Burden here at all. David Njoku looks really good at tight end.
Oh, I'm an Njoku guy. I am most certainly not a Burden guy, though, Dan.
Oh, Bradley. We have to work on that. All right, go ahead and take.
I've been burdened. We're going to take Njoku here. At 117 overall, we're getting David Njoku. That's theft.
Yeah, it is.
I'm surprised the police aren't like circling outside my house. David Njoku at 117. Goodness gracious. Yeah, we'll see. I mean, we might come back around and get your boy Burden anyways, but
yeah,
it's possible.
I wouldn't hate it. I mean, I think Ben Johnson is wanting to use him. He's wanting to look like it was a sharp pick. So,
all right, Dan, I will acquiesce.
All right,
to your Luther Burden propaganda here.
Outstanding. He makes a very good sixth wide receiver. If he was our fourth or our fifth, that would be a problem. But a sixth wide receiver. I mean, at this point, we're hunting upside.
We are hunting upside. Stack hunting. Upside hunting. Upside hunting was originally going to be the name of the podcast, and then stack hunting was just so much more smooth.
Yeah. Yep. Totally agree. All right. So,
sorry, we didn't close the door on Pat Bryant, Dan.
No, we did not.
We need to talk Pat Bryant here. Look, we know what Cortland Sutton is. I think we know what Marvin Mims is in this offense as well. And he's a part-time but dynamic player. I'm not confident, Dan, that Marvin Mims is going to be the full-time player.
Yeah, I totally agree. I think Marvin Mims and Troy Franklin are both kind of, the guys who are nibbling around the edges. They're going to have design plays, all that kind of stuff. But I think it's going to be really Sutton, probably Valet, unless Franklin can overtake him, which I don't think he will, because that's not the type of receiver that Sean Payton likes having blocking anyway. He likes a big guy like Valet. So I think it's going to be Sutton, Valet, and Pat Bryant, which, Pat Bryant in the slot looks pretty nice.
That would be very nice. Going off as wide receiver, well, not that nice. Wide receiver 68.
All right. So I'm curious, when we're talking about old crusty veterans, Diontae Johnson in Cleveland. What are your thoughts on him?
That's an eyebrow raise, Dan. I made a video a couple weeks ago saying that noticing that the Athletic projects Diontae Johnson to be the slot receiver for the Cleveland Browns. And the slot receiver for the Browns last year was Elijah Moore, who had over 100 targets. There's 100 targets there. So Diontae Johnson has a chance. I think he's worth taking some gambles on, but there's a low level of confidence that he will produce anything. So
Right.
I'll sprinkle, but there's no confidence there.
Right, exactly. I don't think he's forgotten how to play football or suddenly got bad at playing football. I think it's, with him, it's like, can he keep his act
Oh, we're on the
together?
clock.
And Dallas Goedert.
Oh, that's too easy. That's too easy. We got the Phillies.
Yeah, let's see. We have both tight ends by week 9. Is that correct?
That is true. We
Okay.
will need a third tight end.
Yeah. Well, week 9 is not a good week for us anyway because we have
Jerry Jeudy out, Devonta Smith out, Garrett Wilson out, Saquon, Jalen Hurts. Yikes.
Yeah, so we're going to try to avoid week 9 buys from here on out.
Pretty much.
Just so we can kind of put together a team. Always good to be able to put together a team.
That would be
All right,
helpful.
and we're coming up here. What are your thoughts?
Tyler Algier is looking pretty good, and he's by week 5. Since we didn't get Bijan.
Yeah. Oh wait, I'm good with that. And then
All right.
Quarterbacks.
Bryce Young is on my list for late round gems. I think we saw
mine too.
the real Bryce Young, I think, in the second half of the season. The narrative that I'd like to have people think about is just throwing out Bryce Young's rookie year entirely. This was like Chicago Bears ruining Justin Fields. Chicago Bears almost ruining Caleb Williams. Like that was like a throwaway year in terms of development. And then you get a competent coach in Dave Canales, but it takes him real in-game action for 6 weeks to get Bryce Young to get the bad habits out, to allow the coaching to actually set in. And then you made the adjustments and you saw the real Bryce Young. So
Yeah.
I believe in Carolina this year. They're going to take another step forward.
Yep, definitely. Bryce Young did just go off the board. I'll throw another
Geno
one out
Smith.
there. How about Cam Ward?
Oh,
This is a guy who's got a wide range of outcomes. If he hits, he could hit big. I think Geno Smith is kind of a, hey, you know what you're going to get type of quarterback, and we don't have any correlation with him. If we're going to go uncorrelated, I'd rather go with more of a wild card, if that makes sense.
sure. We can look at Cam Ward here. I'm not a Cam Ward guy, but might as well sprinkle in some exposure if Dan's going to twist my arm here.
Yeah,
That's what
it's
he's here
only
for.
$20. It's only money.
It's only. Oh,
And soon
and
you'll
Cam
be
Ward
able
went
to,
off anyways.
Yeah.
Cam Ward went off. So Geno to
Let's go
5 seconds.
Okay, yeah, whatever. Anything.
All right. Geno is still my pick.
There you go. You got your pick. All right. So let's probably be looking for, I'd say, one more.
Oh, a late round guy that we can stack.
Yes,
Dante
yes.
Thornton. Dante Thornton. I have been so in on Dante Thornton. Dan, this was a player who ran a faster 40. So he's 6'5". There's not been a player to run a 40-yard dash faster than him at the wide receiver position in the NFL ever. Like, he's 6'5", and he's run a 4.3. Like, dude is a beast. And he's beat out Jack Besh already for the wide receiver 2 role. Like,
right. Yeah, he's going to be starting on the outside, it sounds like. And Beck is going to be, like, backing up.
All right, who are we taking? McMillan, Robinson, Knoll? 10 seconds. 4.
Yeah, let's go Nick Chubb.
Oh.
Well, we got Jalen McMillan, I guess. That one
Nick
snuck
Chubb.
up on me.
Okay, it's okay. We should have taken Will Shipley. No, we couldn't take Will Shipley.
We don't. We don't cuff. We don't.
No,
cuff.
we don't. Not here.
We are stack hunters, but not cuff hunters.
We do not cuff. But Shipley is on our list. Thornton.
Yes,
I had to.
Let's look at. Okay, we need. What do we have? I can't see what are.
We've got 2 tight ends. We've got 7 wide receivers, 4 running backs. We could probably go with another running back here. If Chubb comes back around, do you want him?
Yeah, I think we go with another running back. Chubb in there. Let's do a running back and a tight end for sure. Let's look at just the running backs and see who's left.
Sure. The running backs is Chubb, Sanders, DJ Giddens. Chubb goes off.
Okay with that. I would
Marshawn
say
Lloyd.
I like Giddens a lot.
I think he's clearly the RB2 in Indy. Yeah.
Yeah. I like. I do like Rashard Smith a lot in Kansas City.
He's been getting a positive buzz over the last couple days.
He really has. I think he can develop a role right out of the gate. And there's the running backs in Kansas City other than him don't excite me. So
nope.
By definition, he's almost the most exciting one. All right, let's look at tight ends too.
Let's see here. Mason Taylor, Chig, Darren Waller. What is Miami's bye week again? Bye week 12. They're week 12, so he could be. We're taking Mason Taylor off because he's week 9.
Yep. Can't
so, Chig or Darren Waller.
I don't mind. I prefer probably of the two. Probably Waller. They just run so many tight ends in Tennessee. Yeah, Waller's a nice high upside bet. If we don't get him, I'm always comfortable scrolling down at tight end. So
or Juwan Johnson. I love Juwan Johnson late.
Juwan Johnson's good. Theo Johnson also good.
We're on the clock. Do you want to go DJ Giddens here?
Yeah, let's go Giddens.
Good, very good.
Yes. All right, and then so we have 16. So we got two more picks left. So for
probably
sure,
one more running.
You want one more running back?
I think so. Ooh, Darren Waller goes off at the 16-11.
Okay, that's fine. It's all right.
Chig and Juwan Johnson in the tight end room. Marshawn Lloyd is a running back I don't want us to forget about either. He was on my late.
He just went away.
No.
Yeah, let's just go back to the running backs and see what else we got.
Keaton Mitchell is healthy.
Yeah, he's a good one.
Do you want Brashard Smith, Keaton Mitchell, or Chig?
Brashard Smith.
All right, we went Smith. I think we're good at running back.
Yeah, so just need a tight end then to finish it off.
Yeah, we need a tight end. So it's Chig or Juwan Johnson,
Yep.
unless we get sniped on both of those.
If we get sniped on both of those, I'd think about maybe going like Cole Kmet. Um,
Yes.
could definitely have a good role.
Well, Chig goes off. Juwan Johnson is still there. Oh, this is great. We are motoring
Yeah.
through. I've hit on all of my late round sleepers and late round gems, except one. There's one running back who's going off as running back 69, which is very nice. That's Raheem Mostert, Dan. He looks to be the RB2 in Vegas, and he's going that late compared to where Ashton Genty's going. I know he's old. I know he's crusty, but it's clear that he's the RB2. And in a good enough offense, we've seen what juice Raheem Mostert can bring.
Right. And it's not like he's been worn down with carries over his career either. So, even though he's old, he's a young old.
I'd like to think of myself as a young old.
Right. Exactly. We're I'm an old, you're a young old. And, that's the way it works.
It is the way it works. Well, make sure you
got
guys.
no gray in your beard yet. Come on, Bradley.
Well, I just shaved. I shaved
Yeah.
2 days ago. So, that's what happens sometimes, Dan. Is shave all of it off.
Yeah, tough times. I got to trim mine too, so, All right, we're coming up. Juwan Johnson, 2 picks away.
Whew, we're feeling it.
I think it's going to happen.
Let's make it happen, Dan. Come on. We're manifesting. We're manifesting here.
Yes, we are.
Jalen Hurts, Geno Smith at quarterback, Saquon, DeAndre Swift, Travis Etienne, Tyler Algier, DJ Giddens, Rashard Smith at running back, T. Higgins, Garrett Wilson, Devonta Smith, Jerry Jeudy, Jaden Higgins, Luther Burden, Jalen McMillan, auto pick, David Njoku, Dallas Goedert, and our final pick of the night, Juwan Johnson at tight end. So we complete this draft 2-6-7-3 build for the StackHunters. I feel like this was a B draft. A couple uncorrelated pieces. A lot of fun, though. I think that this team, especially with the foundational pieces of Philly at tight end, running back, wide receiver, and quarterback, will give us the pathway for almost all the touchdowns for the Eagles. So
yes, exactly. What other correlation do you even need, Bradley? Come on, that's the only one that matters. No,
You don't.
I mean, I like a good correlation. I'm all about it. But on the other hand, if you start skipping over good players to correlate, that's not ideal either. And the nice thing is, I feel like we drafted good players basically all the way through. Maybe
we will get hurt in week 9.
Yeah, I know you like the Geno Smith pick. I was less happy about that. You were less happy.
Well,
about
I was
Burton.
going to go with
happy
Cam
about
Ward,
that.
but he went off,
Yep.
Dan.
Oh, I know. It was the best of a bad situation. So, I mean, I don't hate Geno. It's just, I don't know.
Yeah.
He doesn't present, I don't think, a lot of upside. I think he's going to be more floor than ceiling, but that's fine. With Jalen Hurts, I mean, we're not asking a lot out of our second quarterback anyways.
We're just riding Jalen Hurts. Yeah.
Yeah, and that's why we waited a long time to get our second quarterback. And these are the things that sometimes happen when you do that. So, what are the odds we lose both Bryce Young and Cam Ward before Geno Smith went off? So, yeah.
Poverty. Dan, this has been great drafting with you. Make sure you're following Dan on the X Machine at Overhyped Sleeper. You can follow me, Bradley, at FF Stalder on Twitter. Until next time, everyone, Good luck in the fantasy football and best ball streets. Stack Hunters out.